up on a data, but there's only so much money in the year that is allotted. Plus you probably don't even know how it is divided.
What's up, people? YouTube, this Stroller here, bringing you guys another top 10 to my channel, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys the top 10 future supply drop weapons, and this is the top 10 weapons that I would like to see being added to supply drops in Black Ops 3. I know a lot of people aren't so keen on the idea of these supply drops being a thing, you know, like the weapons being added to them and them not just being cosmetic. And I mean, for the most part, I agree with you guys. Treyarch did say it would be all cosmetic, but that's just how it is, and we kind of have to deal with it. So let's make the best of it, right? So at number 10 here, I have an RPG. I would really like to see something more vintage come back to Call of Duty, such as an RPG. And I was thinking back to Black Ops 2, how it was futuristic and they still had an RPG in there, and I thought the RPG was actually pretty good in that game, even though the explosive damage was rather low, if I remember correctly. But I feel like in Black Ops 3 we don't have anything that feels like a missile launcher that's just shoot and it explodes. I mean, it feels like everything that we have besides the War Machine, which is a specialist weapon, it feels like everything that we have is aimed towards taking down aircraft, and that's cool and all, but it's nice to have something that's more, I don't know, vintage, I suppose, like I said before. Anyways, moving on to number 9, we have the AK-74U. If you guys remember the AK-74U from Black Ops 1 before it got patched, that thing was a fucking machine. It was the best gun ever. It tore through everything, and I wish we could see another version of that gun come to Black Ops 3. Now, the reason why I have it at number 9 and not higher on my list is because I feel like, because it is an AK variant and we already have an AK, or technically it's not an AK, but it's a KN-44, we're not going to see something quite like this. I doubt we'll see anything of an AK variant unless it's something like maybe an LMG, like an RPK. But that's the only reason why it's that high on the list. I really would like to see something like this come to Black Ops 3. If you guys agree, please comment down below. Comment any other weapons you would like to see come to Black Ops 3 as well. Moving on to number 8, I have an axe. So we've been getting a lot of melee weapons, and I don't use melee weapons a lot, but one of the things that I really like is the butterfly knife, and I really like the sword. So something like an axe, I feel like would be really cool to have. I don't know, like, I mean, I wouldn't use it all that much, but it would be really cool to just run around and hit people with an axe. If you guys remember back in Ghosts, there was kind of like a Michael Myers game mode. Not even a game mode, it was just a map where the chem strike was essentially Michael Myers, and you could run around as him with an axe, and I just thought that was pretty cool. I mean, weird for a Call of Duty, I didn't like that being in my map, but it would be different if it was like a melee weapon you could equip. So I think that would be a really cool addition to the melee weapons. Moving on to number 7. Alright guys, so here we have the M27, and there's been lots of rumors about this gun being in the game, lots of, you know, fake or maybe not fake gameplay and images and stuff like that. Activision has been taking those down, and so I feel like there's a possibility we could be getting the M27, and I think that it would be really cool to have that gun in here, because in Black Ops 2 I could use the M27 and I could just annihilate people, and when I really wanted to do good in a game, I could just throw on the M27, and usually I would do decent, at least. Now, the only reason it's at number 7 on my list and not higher is because we already have the ICR, and the ICR is pretty damn close to the M27. I don't think it's better than the M27, to be honest, but it's definitely right there. So that's my main reasoning for not putting it higher on the list. Moving on to number 6, I have the UMP-45. The UMP-45 was a great gun in both Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2. I mean, I think most people would agree that it was better in Modern Warfare 2, but with that being said, you can never hurt to have it in another game. I feel like having the UMP-45 in Black Ops 3 would be a really cool addition to the SMGs. I feel like we already have some guns that perform very similarly to it, such as the Razorback. I feel like performs really similar to the UMP-45, but I feel like the UMP-45 could have a little bit of a higher fire rate than the Razorback, lower magazine, and it would just be a more mobile weapon. It would be smaller, more compact, and I feel like that would differentiate it enough from the other SMGs for it to be usable. Anyways, moving on here to number 5, I have the MP7, also a gun that was slightly rumored to be coming to Black Ops 3. The MP7 would just be a great overall gun to have in the game. The only problem with that is it's really similar, in my opinion, to the VMP. I think some people would think it was similar to something more like maybe the Vesper, but I think that the Vesper is closer to the Scorpion Evo from Black Ops 2, but I feel like the MP7 would be a really good addition. I don't know how they could alter it to make it a little bit different from other SMGs. Maybe make it have a slightly slower fire rate and maybe a 30-round clip. I don't know what the VMP has, off the top of my head, but I feel like that would differentiate it enough too from the SMGs for it to be able to stand out, and then maybe lower the damage a little bit. I don't know. Anyways, moving on to number 4, we have daggers. Now this one is probably going to throw you guys for a loop. Now, just think about this. Think about dual-wield daggers that you could run around the map and just stab people with. I feel like that would be the coolest freaking thing to do. So we don't have anything that's really dual-wield as far as melee weapons yet, but we do have a two-handed sword. I mean, I guess that's cool. But like, it'd be really cool to have. I mean, this could work with tomahawks too, but like 2 daggers, and you could just run and stab people with them, and it would just, I feel like it would just feel right. I mean, I don't know, you could stab people with both of them at the same time. I don't know, I thought of that, and I felt like it should be on here. I mean, it could work with anything that works dual wield. I just felt like being a ninja, I suppose. Moving on to number 3, I have a Scar, and the Scar, it could be either the Scar L or the Scar H, but I think I would rather it be the Scar L, just because if you remember back in Modern Warfare 3, I'm pretty sure that's the one that had the Scar L. It had, when you shot it, it made that really, at least with the suppressor on it, made that really noticeable noise, and it's stuck in my head. I just always enjoyed that gun and the sound that it made when you shot it, and I feel like that would be a really good gun to bring back to the Call of Duty series. Moving on to number 2, we have the ACR. Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2, both of their ACRs was crazy good. Low fire rate, high rate of fire for the most part, and it's just a straight line. It mowed through everything. And obviously, if they were to add these to supply drops, I mean, essentially anything that I've talked about, if they were to add them to supply drops, they would have to tweak them a little bit so they aren't so overpowered. Or honestly, they'd have to make it to where they're not better than almost any of the base guns, because it's a little bit unfair for people to not be able to get them through just regular supply drops. And I mean, before you say anything, I know that you can get them through regular supply drops, but the chances are so slim. I mean, I've spent damn near $200 on supply drops, and I still don't have the MX Grand, so that should tell you something. And I feel like if they were to add these guns to the game, they can make them good and make them to where you can use them in a game and do good with them, but not overpowered, not a really, really strong weapon. Anyways, last but not least, guys, the gun that I want to see come to Black Ops 3 more than anything else, you're going to find this really weird, is a Glock. I don't know what my obsession is with Glocks. I like the way they look. I've had airsoft versions of what, kind of like Glocks, and they just feel right. They feel good. In Modern Warfare 2, there was a Glock 17, I think, or Glock 18, something like that. Yeah, I think it was a Glock 18. And it was the one with the high fire rate. It shot automatic. And I'm talking about, I want a Glock that's semi-automatic that you can use as a solid pistol secondary. I think that'd be really cool. I would use it all the time. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to like and subscribe. Twitter and Facebook links will be down in the description as always. The video that you'll see on screen will be the last time I made, and deuces.